let's talk about state of the modified tour. I mean, you are kind of like, not to discredit any other ones because there are other prominent drivers, but in a lot of ways, you're the face of the tour now. You've had a lot of
100%.
success. Are you happy with where the tour is? I mean, you continually dedicate your racing career to it, so I think the answer is yes. But just talk about where you see the modified tour right now these days.
Yeah, I think since COVID, it's definitely been tough. They had really good car counts before the pandemic hit, and it's been an uphill challenge since. But I think with the rise of tri-track and open shows over the last handful of years, it's definitely opened NASCAR's eyes. Probably not as quickly as maybe some of us saw it, or maybe they just couldn't react, quick enough. But they definitely have made a big contribution between NASCAR and Whelen for this upcoming year. I think they understand that there's a lot of competition in the market right now, and to return the tour to that prestigious level that we all want it to be, they are making that contribution. So I think it'll trend up. I've heard some teams that are gonna come back this year. I don't know if it's gonna be full time, but I think they still have to be patient with it. I don't think it's gonna be an overnight fix. It's going to take probably at least all of 2025 to show and get the gossip going of how much it paid to just start the race, and some bonuses and the point fund. The point fund's what's going to go up considerably this year from what we're hearing. So it's tough. Tri-Track does a really good job. Stafford does a great job with their open shows. There is a lot of competition, and if you don't want to leave overnight and just go race an hour or two down the road, it definitely has a lot of options. So I think what they're doing is great with the series. There's a lot of great tracks. They have the Banquet back again. There's a lot of good things trending up, but it's going to be still a little bit of a long, hard road to continue that. But I think they got good people in place right now to make that happen. And it looks like Whelen is kind of doubling down on their contributions to ensure it.
Right. How long did they not have the Banquet? Was that since COVID? Was it a COVID thing?
Yes, it went away for COVID. I won in 2020 and 21 and didn't have a Banquet. It slowly came back in 2022. Was not very good. And this past year, I think, is obviously the closest it's been to pre-pandemic Banquet. So,
right.
That was cool to experience again. And they take care of you when you go to those events when you're the champion. So it's cool to have. There's a lot of prestige. There's a lot of money. There's no money like it in racing, in modified racing, but just a lot of options, and it depends on what each team wants to do. You can't fault anybody for wanting to go run tri-track or open shows or MRS. It's really up to whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
But it's up to NASCAR to try and lure you back in, with some of their benefits and money and stuff like that.
Well, I think Diego's right with there is this prestige that comes with the tour, and full disclosure, Rob, Remy, and I work for Monaco, and we love that series and that product. And I think even they know that they're never going to have that aura when they have an event. Now, they have some cool events. They have some, really great stuff, but it's still different than when the big NASCAR Wheel and Modified Tour hauler comes in and all you guys are there. There's still that prestige there that I don't think it's unmatched in modified racing.
100%. The NASCAR branding does wonders for that series. When I'm at Thompson and they're qualifying, you can actually hear people get hyped when a fast lap, or the new fastest time goes up. That is the only series that goes to Thompson, and that happens.
Yeah. I agree. And you still 15 years in, you still get those goosebumps. You roll into some of these racetracks and you take it all in. It's prestigious. It kind of, like I said, through COVID, kind of took a dip a little bit, and you kind of lost some of that. But they're doing a really good job with their digital and their marketing side, and Flo does a great job. And I really think they're starting to do a much better job, and it's just going to take a little bit of time to get it to where I think everybody wants it to be. But they are very aware of it, and it's a big priority to get that back for them. But I'll give credit to Tri-Track as well. They do a great job, and that pressure can only elevate NASCAR, and then it could also elevate Tri-Track and just elevates modified racing in general. So I might only run the tour, but I watch all those other races, and I'm a race fan too. You just want to see the whole sport be healthy.
Right.
I actually like it better now that, when you guys tour races was on, what was it, the now defunct NBC Sports Network or something, right? It was still kind of Flow is just the accessibility to your events is a lot better now. even though
Oh,
it's
yeah.
not on. Well, I mean, that's the world's changing, right? You would think 5 years ago, Flow Racing versus NBC. No, you'd want to be on an NBC, family of networks. But now, the way that the streaming world is,
Oh, yeah.
Flow Racing is definitely the better
Dude,
everything's
distribution.
That
streamed
shit
now,
was
so-
ass. It would be on some like obscure service, then you'd see it on NBC like 5 days after it happened. I wasn't about that. I love just it's on Flow. I can watch
Yeah.
this race and feel like I'm there.
And I think they're doing a great job with the production of those races too. That's come a long way since streaming started as
Yeah.
well. The ticker, the pre-race, and post-race.
They're unbelievable.
conversations. They're
Yeah.
they're
Yes.
getting it to more of that national series
TV quality,
So,
for sure.
For sure, I think they still have some room to grow with that.
Yeah.
But you watch some of the other stuff on Flow, like the Chili Bowl or the Snowball Derby,
Right.
like they take it to the next level. So hopefully lead into this year that more of that can trickle to our series,
Right.
and they got really good announcers now too, telling our stories that know modified racing. So that's important too.
Yeah, and Flow, like you said, I mean, the graphics, like the ticker and everything, you could see it at the Chili Bowl already, and I think another event that happened at the very end of last year, they're doing like a whole new graphics package they're distributing to like all the tracks that are with them, and it looks so much better than just the basic black with like Arial font they had before.
Yeah.
It's like it's very high
Yeah, they're
quality.
doing a great job, and the announcers, Joe Koss, and
Joe Koss is great
yeah,
announcer.
I think Andy Austin is his name.
I think that's right,
They
yep.
they come around. Ben Dodge does too, but they come around and they ask questions and
Yep.
they're getting their stories to tell before the race. Martinsville in particular, they did a great job of that. So
I thought it was awesome.
Yeah.
That whole, sitting down, having popcorn or something, watching that
Yeah.
race.
Yeah.
It was like a must see for me.
yeah, it makes it hard to leave your couch sometimes and go to the races.
Well,
but,
that's the
the
problem. So
catch-22
I
to
always
it.
figured out like they have to be as good as Stafford, if not better.
Yeah.
Right, because
Right.
Stafford put such a great product out. It's like
Yeah,
watching.
They set the standard.
Yeah,
They
it's almost
really do.
embarrassing
The
if
way-
you're not there.
And I don't know if it's changed, but the way I understood it last year was NASCAR was doing the production for like the big races. So New Smyrna, North Wilkesboro. Did you guys race Richmond last year?
Yes.
Richmond, Thompson, and New Hampshire. And then like Riverhead, Monadnock, and
Flo
I think
had their own people.
Lancaster.
Yeah.
But-
Riverhead does their own. They have their own production group they're trying to replicate Stafford, and
Yeah.
they're doing a good job.
Yeah, that's got to
Not-
be a lot of work.
Not at
Yeah.
Stafford level, but yeah, they produced I guess the tour races.
Yeah.
for that race.
Yeah, I mean, like with anything, the more you do it, you get better at
Yeah.
it. I mean, the
Yeah,
first time we did this was chaotic, and now
Was it ass? Is that what you said?
Oh yeah, I wouldn't say it was ass. It was just kind of weird. Like we didn't have a feel. Like there was no rhythm yet.
yeah.
I got a question for you. When so I'm sure you guys knew about Wheeling and what they were putting in. Did you know that before the race at Martinsville, or because that's when it was announced to us?
we didn't
right?
know the details, but we had heard over the summer at Thompson, Whelan had come and actually sat with Ken and talked to him in the trailer and was like, hey, like we're in a renewal year, like there's a lot going on behind the scenes right now, like give us some time. So yeah, that's I guess we didn't know the exact details.
What was
until
the
they announced
vibe
it.
like? I mean, were people were teams excited, or do teams not really care? I mean, I don't know, because nobody races for the money. I don't think.
Yeah.
That's how I feel. Like I could own the Speedbowl and pay $20,000 to win or $30,000 to win. Is Justin Bonsignore showing up? Probably not.
Yeah.
Right? You know what I mean? I don't know if it matters.
I mean, it definitely helps.
Yeah.
The championship's going to go up considerably. Well, just the
You're
point front
talking
in
about the
general.
championship
Yeah, the point
point
front in
fund.
general is going to
Right.
go up considerably.
Right.
And I'm thinking it might be six figures again to win, which hasn't been in
Wow,
a
very
long,
nice.
long time. Wow. that's a good chunk of change.
Hell
It's,
yeah.
Yeah.
It's still, it could always
Right.
be more, but you have to be
Yeah.
realistic
So
about it.
1 to 10, how much do you think the purse matters in getting cars there?
Yeah, at tracks in general.
Right,
Because
because
it's a debate we
right
have
with
all
so
the
many
time.
times. Like, is it like the prestige and like the trophy hunting that gets them there, or like is it really the purse?
Well, I think it's different. If you're seeing a weekly series versus the NASCAR Modified Tour where you're traveling to Florida and North Carolina,
Right.
I'd say the tour is probably maybe an 8, 7 or 8, maybe some weekly stuff,
Right.
maybe a 3 or 4. I just think with the amount of travel and nowadays it's flights, rental cars, hotels. Like that is expensive. That's our
Well,
most expensive part of the travel.
What I had thought
Right.
about too, like we've talked about the Wheeling Tour, right? I'm
Yeah.
sure there's a lot of teams that would like, and Di Matteo was sitting in here, right? And he's like, dude, I like 2 months prior, I had to go for a physical.
Yeah.
And I had to do this and I had to do that. And the team members had to do this.
Yeah.
Like it almost makes it.
That was
just
really
as-
that was really insightful.
Yeah, it almost makes it say, "Yeah, fuck it, we're just gonna go run this."
Overwhelming
Right.
at first, but once you get into the flow of it, you know, like they sent me the drug test and physical before Christmas. I think it was like the week before Christmas. I just went to the doctor, took care of both of it, and it's done. The portal is for your license and your hard card. Once you do it once, the next year it's like hey, you send a link out, everybody double checks and like clicks a couple buttons.
Yeah.
And like tonight, when on the way back, we're ready to go. I just got to press send, and but it's expensive.
Yeah.
I think breaking that door down is scary for a lot of teams, and they just get overwhelmed with it. And it can be at times. I understand that, but I think it gets easier as you understand the flow. It's like anything you do for the first time is always a little anxious. So
Yeah.
I think as you do it more, it gets easier. But you know the travel. I mean, flights alone. We try to get our guys to fly to anything that's more than like 6 to 8 hours because we don't want them to miss. They're all volunteer. We don't want them to miss their whole weekend or be away from their wife and kids. So, you know, just to go to Florida, I think the flights were, you know, probably $3,000 to $5,000 somewhere.
You
in there,
guys
you know?
you didn't fly a Velo?
You didn't fly Spirit?
Some of my guys fly a Velo.
Yes.
What's the airport over here?
Was New Haven?
New
Tweed?
Haven?
Yeah. They even a Tweed?
Dude, we kept going down with Brody's race
Yeah.
down in North Carolina.
Tweed
It
to
was the most
Daytona. Yeah.
every other week.
Yeah.
Like you're flying a Velo for $60.
Yeah.
You
Right.
can't continue.
Not me. American from LaGuardia to Daytona is a little pricey for next week. But
Yeah.
Right.